So the new trustees report from the Social Security Administration just came out yesterday. So let's go over that. And unfortunately, the trust fund is going to run out about a year earlier. So we're going to go into all of that, talk about what that means for everybody, what that means for those 70 million people that are currently receiving Social Security benefits, and what that's going to mean for the people going forward that are about to collect Social Security benefits, because this is important information that you need to know to plan for the future. And then this is also a live Q&A. Looks like I already got a bunch of questions. And I've also got about 6 people that sent in video questions. And I will, if you sent in a video question within the last 24 hours, I'm going to respond to your video today. So thank you for sending in those questions. All right. So let's get, unfortunately, to, I guess, the good news and the bad news. Politicians like to play with this, that it's going broke and everything. Social Security is not going broke. Social Security will be around for hundreds of years unless we're completely replaced by AI and robots where nobody's paying FICA tax at all. But Social Security will be around here for hundreds of years. I guess if we decide to give Social Security over to Wall Street, then that's a whole different issue. But as long as we keep Social Security as it's currently configured, it will be here for hundreds of years. The problem is the trust fund is running out, and this trustees report just put it in there that they will run out a year earlier. So when that happens, according to the current projections, is that everybody, you're currently receiving benefits, that means you. You're about to receive benefits, that means you too. 19% of your benefits are going to be gone forever. So look at your check. If you're currently receiving Social Security benefits right now, chop off 19% of that. That's what's going to happen in a few years because the trust fund is running out. So we have X amount of coming in every year from the FICA, people working, paying into Social Security tax, the FICA tax. Got that much coming in every year. We have that much going out. So total income for 2024 was 1.42 trillion. So that's how much came in to FICA, people working and paying into FICA. But the problem is 1.48 trillion went out. So there's about $60 billion there. Where'd that $60 billion come from? It came from the trust fund. So about $67 billion was taken out of the trust fund. And then, a lot of people out there, oh, it's all fake money and stuff. Well, then the money you receive in your check right now is fake too, because that's where that money comes from. It comes from the trust fund to cover that gap. When that trust fund is depleted, which it will be depleted in 2034, then there won't be anything to cover that gap. What comes in will have to match what goes out. So there's not going to be that 19% getting from the trust fund because the trust fund is going to be empty. And whose fault is that? Basically, for the past 30 years, we've known about this. We've known that this is coming, and we keep telling ourselves, and politicians keep, changing the subject and, saying, hey, well, the trust fund was stolen. It was given during the Vietnam War. It was doing this. It was given to Ukraine. It was given to these people. And no, the trust fund, for those that are interested, for those that, so I got a different one up there. Let me grab. For those that think the trust fund is empty, you can go to the Social Security Trustees report. I'll put that in my description. So the Social Security Trustees report is hundreds of pages, and it gets into exactly the long-range analysis, fertility rates, death rates, immigration, real growth, average benefits, scheduled benefits. Super, super boring. If you have insomnia, you can't sleep, definitely pick up the Social Security Trust Fund. It'll put you to sleep in about probably about 5 or 10 minutes. But like Elon Musk was saying, hey, Social Security is nothing but a Ponzi scheme. Ponzi schemes don't have trust reports every year where they show you exactly where that $2.7 trillion is. So there is $2.7 trillion in. The problem is that is being used every year, and it's going to run out in 2034. And the fault is all the presidents and all the politicians and all of us for the past decades. We have known about this impending crisis, but we have failed to do anything significant to solve it. So I could have added Reagan in there and all the politicians, all the senators, all the Congress people for the past 30 or 40 years, but I just didn't have enough space to add all of those people. So all those people are responsible for the cuts that we're going to get in the future. If they would have done their job, if we would have made them do their job, then we wouldn't have an issue. Now it looks like they're talking about another war that we might go into for, I think, weapons of mass destruction. I think I've heard this. Where's Colin Powell? So it looks like they're trying to drum up. We always got money for war. Always got money for war. Just seems, trillions of dollars just fall out of the sky when it comes to war. Profiteers got to make their money, military industrial complex. But when it comes to Social Security, when it comes to saving that, fill in that 19% gap, we just can't do it. It's just not in the cards. Sorry. So reach out to your politicians and say, hey, we've known about this for decades. What's going on? Let's go ahead and fix it. Okay. Let's go ahead. I hate to be the person of doom and gloom, but this has been doom and gloom for decades. And people say, hey, they've been talking about this for decades and nothing's ever happened. Well, we've talking about this decades that eventually it's like, we've been talking about that for decades, Ed. You're eventually going to lose your hair. And guess what? It did eventually happen. So we had preparation for decades and we just didn't do it. All right. Let me see. Tammy, I was his video to try and learn how to do things. Okay. I watched his video, try to learn how to do things. Yes, please. And Tammy, as the regular viewers to my channel know, we are the best community on social media because hopefully you watch the videos to learn things to help other people in your community. That's the key. Make sure your benefits are correct. Make sure you're getting everything you paid for, eligible, entitled to, earned, need. And then once you know you're good, then start thinking about those people around you, your friends, relatives, little old lady that lives down the street and all the rest of it. Bull. I've paid into the system since I was 16 years old. I'm owed millions plus interest. The IOU is due. Pay up or orange, which you, yeah, you'll get your 81%. But as of right now, sorry, that other 19%, unless we do something. And regular viewers to my channel know the solution that the actuaries and the trustees and everybody recommend. The number one thing, there's a bill in Congress right now, is that the reason is it's not demographics, it's not, births and all that stuff. No, the main driving factor is the fact that since the 1980s, we have produced more per capita. Our efficiency has gone up. Each of us has produced more, but that money has not come to us. It's gone to the rich. And if you make over $176,100, you don't pay. You're exempt from FICA tax, from Social Security FICA tax after $176,000. So there's so much money, trillions of dollars that are not being taxed. Like, we pay Social Security FICA tax on every buck we make. But if you make over $176,100, you're exempt after that amount. And that's what the issue is. That is what the issue is. While cuts are on the table for Medicaid, the Pentagon has pledged $1.7 billion to modernize the facility, the water arsenal in New York State, all to continue the Ukraine-Russian war. Yes. It's what's the old bumper sticker you used to say that teachers have to have bake sales and stuff to get supplies to paper supplies and but you never saw the Pentagon having a bake sale. They're always got money. And when Elon Musk went in there and said, hey, we're going to cut out fraud, waste, and abuse, he heads to Social Security immediately. But the DoD, the Department of Defense, being an old Marine Corps sergeant, that's where you need to go focus. But they decided to go to the most vulnerable first. No, you don't collect both SSDI and yes, you can. Yes. But one offsets the other. This is a common misunderstanding. So a lot of people aren't getting the benefits they're eligible for because they think this. And you're correct in one sense, but incorrect in another sense. You don't get both checks. So if you're getting, let's say you're getting $1,000 from Social Security Disability Insurance, and then you're eligible for survivor benefits. You don't get let's say $2,000 in survivor benefits. You don't get $1,000 plus $2,000, $3,000. You don't get that. But what you do get both checks. You do get two checks, but one offsets the other. So you continue to get your $1,000 SSDI check, and then you can get the difference between the two. So you'll get $1,000 from surviving spouse with a total of $2,000. So it's essentially just doubled your income. So you are correct in one sense, but incorrect in another sense. So, and a lot of people miss that. A lot of people miss that. A lot of people out there that are eligible for more money and walking around struggling, and they don't realize that. So, Ruby, what's up, Ruby? Do SSI and Medicaid deny a single man 36 benefits due to mother's income and assets? Is mother obligated to deplete her assets before he can get any assistance? His medical expenses are unbearable. If that person is living, if the same household, yeah, pretty much. Medicaid is a welfare-based program, so you have to kind of look at it as a logical or illogical conclusion. So let's say the mother was, multimillionaire, and the son lives, in this big mansion, but he doesn't make any money. Should that person go down and get SSI welfare-based program, Medicaid welfare-based health insurance? That's kind of the logic. If he was on his own, then definitely. SSI has to be disabled at 36 years old, has to be disabled to get SSI, the welfare-based benefits, supplemental security income, or SSI aged 65 and older. So you kind of have to look at it like that. So they might count it against him. But for SSI, they just changed the law last year. It's called ISM, in-kind support and maintenance. So previously, any type of assistance he would get on with food, that would be held against him. Now, not so much. They changed the law on that. And a few months after that, they changed the law on ISM for kind of rental assistance, housing assistance. So the in-kind support maintenance, if you were getting help with, a place to live, they would hold that against your SSI. But now it's a different calculation. So those are the options. So depends how much the parent is receiving, whether he is, kind of a dependent and living together and all that other kind of stuff. Are we eligible to receive, but to go back to your question, if in terms of SSI, if they were denied, you can always file an appeal, or, change living arrangements or whatever the case may be. Or, saying that, he's just, sure, he's living in my house, but he's renting a room, and I am doing the ISM support of renting the room, and they'll look at fair market value and they'll do the new calculations. So, Mike, are we eligible to receive the $4,000 tax break on SSDI? I apologize for the rest of you that don't make a lot of dollars, but I have been collecting a military pension at 34 and the state pension at 55. Yeah, there is. I think the Senate actually bumped it up. The House said $4,000. The Senate said $6,000. So it's a tax deduction. So if just like any type of deduction, if you have interest, you can deduct it from. So it's there was the campaign promise by the president to say, hey, we're not going to tax Social Security. That's out. That's not in the House bill. It's not in the Senate bill. The only consolation prize is, hey, you can take off, X amount. If you make $100,000, we'll say that you only made $96,000. And a lot of people that really need that money don't even pay taxes on their Social Security anyway. So there's a lot of people out there that support that no taxes on Social Security, even though it doesn't help them at all. It only helps about half of the population that are making other types of income or higher income. So, do SSDI benefits stop when you are in the county jail? It really depends. If you are just thrown in there and you're not convicted, or whatever the case may be, you actually have to be kind of fully. It's like we used to have someone in our office that used to get police reports. The kind of the incarceration reports on a regular basis, and if they're depends on the particular category. So if you're just, thrown in, Mayberry PD, thrown in a drunk tank, for the weekend or something like that, no. You actually, Yeah, it has to be go through further. Uh, Basically, what it is that they jail or prison. You're already being taken care of by the government because you're in prison. So the Social Security check essentially stops in that particular case. So it really depends on the status of that person. Mike, do not have to apologize. Exactly. Yeah, that you served in the military and that you're getting other stuff. So absolutely. Let's see. The trust fund shouldn't be running out, but some reason political parties from both sides thinks they can take from it and pay it back. Okay, yeah, that's 100% incorrect. Why shouldn't it be? So your savings never run out? If you don't put money back into the savings, yes, unless you've got some type of special bank account we all need to know about where you put $1,000 in and you take it out on a monthly basis and it never reduces to it never goes lower than $1,000. Silent guard, please tell us where that bank account is because we would definitely like one of those, kind of money trees. All right. Why can't they pay back what they took out for the entire again? Yeah, that's what politicians, that's a distraction politicians told us. You can read the Social Security Trustees report yourself. It's hundreds of pages. All the money is there, as we used to say in the Marine Corps, all present and or accounted for. All the money is there. And it wasn't stolen and whatever. It's there in trust and treasury bonds, just like your 401k in foreign countries. Just watch the old money. It's the old movie. It's a Wonderful Life. You put your money in the bank, and it's not as though the banks keep all the money. They loan it out to other places, but when you want it, you have the right to go get it. And every single month, essentially, Social Security says, "Hey, we can only pay out 90% of paychecks this month. So we need 10% from the trust fund savings," and then they cash in those bonds and they pay your, full 100% check. So yeah, that's whole thing is a distraction politicians used to shut us up, and it's been working for decades. That's why we can't fix Social Security because of all the distractions, all the misinformation. Because people who should not have got it did. Let illegals have it who never paid. Again, another misinformation. If you're not in this country legally, you cannot get Social Security. How do I know? I've taken hundreds of thousands of retirement claims, disability claims, Medicare claims. If you don't have proof that you're in this country legally, you're not going to get it. Again, this is a distraction. We need to be serious and actually, try to solve this rather than on my website. You can go in there and there's a section in there that has all of the misinformation. So all of the internet myths. Pray the trust fund is safe from we know who. We the people can only do so much if the government takes illegally from it. Again, yeah, it's all 100%. Read the trustees report. It's all present and are accounted for. And yet the average congressperson is making nearly $300,000 a year out of our tax money. Yeah, that's, I don't know about 300,000, but yeah, I'm not sure how much congressional pay is, but yeah, they got the lifetime retirements and, but that's not where their money comes from, right? That's chump change. They, don't give up $1 million businesses to go work for, $150,000, right? So, that's why can't the government pay back what they took back in the day? Again, misinformation. Let's get serious about actually fixing it. This is the problem. Yeah. They took from the Sears pension for years, and now new state employment will have to work 60 years to receive half of my pension I received in 25. So that's some type of state pension. Yeah. Byron, June 27th, I turned 65, but I've already been receiving regular Social Security for 2 years. I received $930 regular Social Security and $57 SSI. What I was wondering, could I go to work like 67? Yes, you can go to work now. You're just limited to how much you can make. In terms of your regular Social Security benefits, retirement benefits, or disability benefits, whatever you're receiving, then you're limited to how much you can make. This year it's $23,400. but so you can make up to that and it won't affect your Social Security benefits at all. It's definitely going to cut you off of SSI, so you won't get that $57 from SSI. Basically, for SSI, there's, if you go back to work, I've got a section on my website about this. There's an exclusion for $20, another exclusion for $65, and then anything you earn after that, half of that goes off of your SSI. So basically, if you work, you're going to lose that $57, but you're going to work and hopefully make a lot more than that. As long as you're up to stay under 23,400, then it won't affect your Social Security. If you're receiving retirement benefits, if you're receiving disability benefits, that's a whole different issue. So we the people need to be advocates now for SSA. Yes, please. And rather than getting distractions and falling for political, BS. All right, I've got 6 questions that people sent in. So let's watch a few of those and I'll answer the questions live.
Hello, my question is, I need an appeal form to appeal a situation where they charged me for Medicare. I'm out of the country. I called and canceled, sent in a cancellation form just at the time where everything was going crazy. So I want to see if you have a form that I can down or upload so that I can print it out, because I called the international. I'm in Romania. Social Security, she said she was going to mail it out. And I asked if she would email it. She said, yes, let me have your email. Well, I haven't received an email or any form to appeal my situation there. It took 3 months out of 1 month and it about died. I did die. So please help me with this form so that I could fill it out, since the Social Security is so busy and they hung up on me. I just wanted to let you know that. Thank you.
All right. So, yeah, that's Social Security is way understaffed. Doge, kicked a lot of people out of the agency, so they're having even a harder time, and particularly the Office of International Operations. So a lot of people live overseas now. U.S. citizens move overseas where there's a cheaper, living. And so, yeah, in terms of forms, if what you're talking about, you don't necessarily need a form for that. What that is an oral request. So they should have taken that, documented that as an oral request for that reconsideration for your particular issue. But I'm not sure why they did that, why they didn't take that as an oral request, an oral documentation. But you can go onto my website, mygovexpert.com, and I've got all the links on there, the SSA 561. And sometimes with SSA.gov, you might have an issue, going online overseas, SSA.gov's, Social Security really tries to keep, foreign actors from going into the Social Security system and doing stuff. So sometimes it blocks. So it might block you. But my website shouldn't, mygovexpert.com, and you just click on the Medicare or whatever the case may be, and most of the form links are in there, so you can down those directly. And when you send that in, eventually, make sure you put in there that, hey, I called 2 months ago, so you're protected for 2 months ago, and say, hey, this should have been taken, addressed 2 months ago when I called in. So you need to fix it, and call your politicians as well and tell them they need to improve customer service.
Hi, Dr. Weir. I'm Jeff from Cheyenne, Wyoming, and I've got a question because I have been on SSDI since mid 2019. I'm almost 55 years old. Will be in.
Oops.
Hi, Dr. Weir. I'm almost 55 years old. Will be in July. My wife is just about 5 years older than I am. I was the primary earner and with disability and other benefits, I'm still the primary earner, even though I'm not working. My question is, when should she file for Social Security to optimize her benefits? She is a paraprofessional in education, and she's probably going to work until she's about 65 and a half, based on everything right now. But I don't know if she can go ahead and claim early, say at 62, based on my record, or would she uh, get benefits on her own record until she's about 72 or so, when I would switch over automatically from disability to Social Security retirement. Thanks a lot. Hopefully that's clear, and I appreciate
Okay, let me switch over here and show. Hold on one second here. I'm technology challenged. Okay, there we go. All right. So, she is working. If she's making over the $23,400, if she starts her Social Security benefits, because she has to start her benefits on her own record first. She can't start the benefits on yours. Only as a surviving spouse can do that. So, but she has to file for benefits on her own record first. And if she's making over $23,400, then Social Security is going to hold back $1 for every $2 she goes over. So if she's making $23,400, then yeah, go ahead and start benefits now, and start on her record. And if her benefit amount is less than half of yours, then she can file for benefits on your record as well. But if she's not, if she's going to stop working, I think you said at 65 and a half, then yeah, she'll probably need to wait till she's 65 and a half that year to go ahead and file for benefits on your record. But again, she has to file for benefits on her own record. And what you mentioned, 72, no. Don't start any benefits past the age of 70, and particularly retirement benefits on her own record, because you're talking about delayed retirement credits. They stop maximizing at 70 years old. So if you're waiting to file for benefits on your own record past 70, you just lost that much money. So whatever you're going to do, make sure she does it before the age of 70. So probably the best idea for her is, it sounds like 65 and a half. If she stops working, then she files for benefits on her record, and then she files for benefits on your record if her benefit amount is less than half. I have got on my website there that I finally have up, calculators on spouse benefits, and it tells you, it's even got a handy little spouse benefit calculator. So it kind of gives you an idea of how much her benefit is, how much your benefit will be, and that kind of early retirement, and if she starts her benefits early. So thank you for the question. Let's see what else we got here.
My name is Lori from Arizona, and what I have a question is, for this reason or that, I don't have a large Social Security. I was with my husband for 14 years, but we were only married 9 years, 1 month. So nobody told me, hang on for another 11 months. Anyway, my question is, I'm 64, and your program told me that I should wait till 67 to collect Social Security. So with that in mind, I thought, because it's not very high what I'll be receiving, if I should make a substantial amount of income. I have an S-corp. If I were to take wages versus net income as much as I could for the next 3 years, how much will the last 3 years before my full retirement year, will that impact my increase in Social Security at this point in time? My average, because of children, my husband working for my parents, him and I both working for them, and me telling him, don't worry about paying me, just put it on Scott. It's community. We both use the money. It's no problem. You can just go to him. Well, of course, that really did a number for me. So will those 3 years help me how much will it impact, what I've been making like for the last 10 years with my business and wage income? And if there's kind of a percentage increase based on if I have 13,000 more per year for 3 years in a row, how much will that impact? Thank you.
All right, a lot of questions there. Yeah, number one, whether you file at 62, 65, 67, 70, it's definitely 100%, based on your particular situation. If you need the money now, then hey, get it. Again, on my website, on the retirement section there is a little calculator when to start benefits. It tells you all the, okay, are you receiving it? Do you need the money? How's the longevity in your family, how's your health and all that. There's all kinds of different, decisions you have to make yourself to determine when you start your Social Security benefits. But yeah, whether it's 67 or whatever. But if you're currently working and you're making over the, the annual earnings limit, the 23,400, then yeah, that might be a good idea to wait until your full retirement age. Because if you don't, then they're going to, Social Security is going to hold back $1 for every $2 you go over. Will it increase your benefit? It definitely sounds like it. How much? It really depends on how much you made over your high 35 years of earnings. But it sounds like it's going to be, your benefit amount is going to be low. And you probably have a bunch of zeros there, it sounds like. So Social Security looks at your high 35 years and people say, well, I didn't work 35, I only worked 20. Well, then they're going to take 15. If you work 20 years and you got 15 years of zeros, those 15 years of zeros are calculated in there and brings everything down, unfortunately. So anytime you replace a 0 year with actual money, that'll help you out. That'll definitely help you out. And yeah, here's what a lot of people mess up on is some spouses, know the whole 10-year rule and they push the lawyers or whatever to make sure they divorce from you at 9 years and 364 days. So you're 1 day short and their last, dig in the ribs. So, if you're able to, do the 10 years. But if you're not, then you're not. But anyway, this is another issue a lot of people mess up on. I think it's like I've got like over 1,300 videos, and this is probably like I think one of the first videos I did when I first started this YouTube journey a couple of years ago, is a husband and wife, and they're working together, got their own company or something like that. They often do what you did or their accountant messes up. Accountants, they know taxes and stuff, but they don't know Social Security, most of them. And what they do is, taxes, you both have to pay taxes, but where the FICA money goes, where the Social Security money goes, usually they put it on, one spouse or the other, which is fine because that increases that spouse's benefit. And then yours can be 0. And as long as this one is continuing to go up, then you can collect benefits once they start benefits. There's a timing issue there as well. But if you don't stay the entire 10 years, then you've just given up all of your FICA money, all of your Social Security money for all that time. So that sounds, unfortunately, like it's your particular situation. You paid a lot more into it, but you don't get the benefit of it because it all went to your husband. And that is an unfortunate thing. Some people do it voluntarily. Some people do it because the accountant messes up. When the accountant, your tax person does the taxes, they put, the husband or wife, the primary or whatever, on the front page there for the taxes. And then they assign all of that FICA, Social Security, and Medicare tax to one person. And they mess that up all the time. And we used to get people in Social Security. It says, can we fix that? You're going to have to go back and amend all of those taxes, get with your ex-spouse, go to the IRS, see if they will amend that going back 5, 10, 20 years. And we've told people that on a regular basis, and we've never had anybody come back and say, okay, we went through the entire bureaucratic rigmarole and I got with my ex and we amended all the taxes and we paid all the taxes and yada, yada. Yeah, everybody has just given up. So make sure you do it right from the beginning. If you're going to stay married for 10 years or ever, then it's not an issue. Hello, Sandra. Hey, hello. I appreciate your information. One question. I will get a call from Social Security office tomorrow. They set an appointment on the telephone. Can I get the help details on spouse benefits? Yeah, so not sure if you're going to be filing for benefits on your own record, or just you're already receiving benefits and you want to file for spouse benefits. So if you're talking about your current spouse, remember you have to file for benefits on your own record, be receiving benefits on your own record first, and then if your full benefit amount, if you waited till your full retirement age is less than half of your spouse's, divorced spouses, whatever, then you can get benefits on that record, the difference between the two. So if it's your current spouse, and your current spouse has to be receiving benefits as well. If your current spouse is not receiving benefits, you cannot receive benefits. Only if it is a divorced spouse. If it is a divorced spouse, that divorced spouse does not need to be receiving benefits. They just need to be at least 62 years old, and you need to be divorced for 2 years. It's called independently entitled divorced spouse benefits. Nice, long, bureaucratic name. Arcade, Texas put into law that 65 and over do not have to pay school taxes as part of property taxes, and over 65, as they get older, will have zero for property taxes, and homestead exemption was raised. Texas, wow, looking out for the elderly. That's good job, Texas. Everyone, smash that cap, raise the one-time death benefit. They're living in the 80s. Yes, actually, the one-time death benefit, $255, have been around since what, 1950s. It's stupid crazy. So, how can people do a video question if someone has a speech impairment related to hearing loss and doesn't have someone to make the video? Should we type it in and then attempt to speak in the video? Sorry. If you look on my mygovexpert.com there, the bottom left, it has the question or comment, and then there's a video. I need to edit the video, the welcome video on that. But anyway, on the video part, if you have a question now, go ahead and type it in right now. And we get tons of questions in there. So if y'all see focused ladies question, please bring it to my attention. I get tons of questions coming up, and sometimes I miss it. So if you have a hard time making a video, go ahead and ask your question now. And Bella and everybody, could y'all look out for her question for us, please? Thus, government has no intention of helping anyone. They're cutting the living daylights out of our life programs at this time. What can we expect from this president? Nothing. Yeah, and this is, in terms of Social Security, this has been, Democrat, Republican, left, right. They may say they support Social Security, but proof is in the pudding. Since I took my Social Security at 62 and my husband is waiting until 67, how much penalty for survivor benefits? So it depends who we're talking about. If you took your benefits at 62, then if something happens to you, then your husband will get that lower amount because you took it earlier. There's called this widow's limb type thing where it's actually increases it a little bit, but up to 82.5%. But if your husband, something happens to him, if it doesn't matter when you took your Social Security, it matters when you start your survivor benefits. So if something happens to your husband and you start the survivor benefits on his record from him at your full retirement age, you get 100%. So, all right, let's see. Cheryl turned 62 in July and applied for regular Social Security in May. Statement says my Social Security will start September. Why not August? Do I need to fill out a protest form? Because you turned 62 in July, you probably weren't born on the 1st. So you have to be 62 the entire month. So you won't be eligible for benefits until August, and then your August check comes in September. So that sounds right. So so your August check comes in September. Why does Social Security do that? Because eventually we all, shuffle off our mortal coil, kick the bucket, whatever you want to say. And then that enables Social Security to stop that last check. So that's why they always pay it 1 month back like that. So, We got money for war, but we can't feed the poor. Yep. And we got money to give more tax breaks to, billionaires and millionaires, but we can't feed the poor and we can't provide them health care. So yeah, not sure what's going on. Okay, I already answered this one. Everyone should be paying a certain percentage based off income or stock sold. Yes, I agree. And there's people complain about that, and they say, well, Social Security, you get what you pay into it. But a lot of people don't realize there's these thing called bin points. So a lower income worker gets a higher replacement rate, so up to like 90%. So if your average earning throughout your life was only about $1,000, you're going to get $900 in Social Security because there's a higher percentage goes for the the people, the low income earners, and that's been like that since 1935. Not that percentage, but it's always helped people low income. If you're a higher wage earner, you paid a lot in Social Security, you could only receive like 30% replacement rate. So it's always been like that. So there's a 90%, 32%, and a 15%, and they do the calculations based on these bin points that come out every year. So people always say that, well, if you tax them more, they're just going to get more money. No, they've always gotten less a percentage. They'll get more absolute money, but we just have to add another bin point rather than 90 and 32.15. Then we add another one that's 0.1, and name a dog park after Elon Musk for the extra contributions or something. I don't know. Let's not pretend we should reduce military spending to give to Social Security. It doesn't work that way. Just smash the FICA cap and give the military the money we need to stay first. Both can happen. Yeah. I don't know if we need to give that much to the military, but considering we spend more on the military than the other top 5 largest countries, militaries in the world. So if the top 10, did I say 5 or 10? The top 10 largest militaries, if they all attacked us at the same time, we would still be good if we're getting what our money's worth. Yeah. So how paranoid do we have to be? Judy, my husband passed away 2017, and I need to draw his Social Security or VA. It sure would help right now. $1,000 a month is no money. Yes, yeah. And I need to draw his Social Security. If your husband passed in 2017, yeah, the VA, definitely contact the VA. But in terms of Social Security, if you are at least 60 years old, you can collect survivor benefits. If you're disabled, it's called disabled widow benefits. You can start collecting survivor benefits from 50 to 59. But regular survivor benefits starts at 60. And again, on my website, you go in there for more details on the survivor benefits part, and it tells you surviving spouse, whether it's divorced spouse, whatever the case may be. And then it tells you kind of how much we're looking at for those surviving spouse benefits. If you're already receiving benefits on your own record, then it'll be, an increase of your benefit. You'll continue essentially to receive your retirement benefits plus the difference of the two. Did that one lady, I'm seeing hundreds of questions here. I'm not able to go through all of them on the fly here. I'm not that good. God, what was her name? I'm trying to see if I see her. I don't see her question here yet. I want to make sure I answer her question before we finish here today. I contacted both my North Carolina senators' offices, and whenever all my concerns about this bill, still they voted to cut Medicaid even more and food stamps. What else can I do now? Yeah, you've done your thing. You call them again, and call your friends and Facebook groups and whatever the case may be, and make sure people mobilize. Yeah, the Senate bill is even worse. The Senate says it's like the Congress people in the House, they put some pain on the elderly and disabled and the people that need help. In the Senate, it's like, hey, hold my beer. You want to see what pain looks like? We'll show you pain. And they decided to double down. But the rich are going to have a nice field day. Shoot, I can't remember, but Ed's talked about it before. Independent something. Yes, Cheryl. Independently entitled divorced spouse. So let's see, on my family page, independent divorced right there, independently entitled divorce spouse benefits. And I actually added the Social Security reference because even Social Security employees, the people at the front windows, they unfortunately miss this all the time. So, and it gives you all the details of this. So that's what it is. And it's not an improvised explosive device. No, it's not an IED. No, that's not what it means. This is not true about illegals. I have known illegals that have bought Social Security numbers and worked many years. Yep, and draw Social Security. Nope. Then you need to turn them. They're receiving benefits illegally. So please, if you know who those people are, they faked birth certificates that they were born in the United States as well. They faked green cards that actually passed the SAVE system that Social Security has to use to make sure, people that are not in this country legally do not receive Social Security benefits. So this has to be the one person acting on their own cannot do that. So if you know people that are in this country illegally, they're paying into Social Security probably, but they should not be receiving Social Security. So if you know that is a big issue. That one person can't do it themselves because it takes a really sophisticated system to trick the Social Security system to give people that are not in this country legally benefits. So I would reach out, contact SSA OIG. But I think it's one of those. I know this one guy that knew a guy that had a brother twice removed that had this person. Yeah, so I think it's one of those things. Everyone knows that the GOP wants to starve Social Security and Medicare. They will not fix it. You're not wrong. The Conservative Party, the parties switched in the early 1900s. What we considered the Democratic Party was different. It's a great book by Charles Forsey called The Crossroads of Liberalism. It tells you about the switch, Lincoln was a Republican, but he was a liberal Republican. So those things, radical Republican. So anyway, the Conservative Party has been against Social Security since day one. They've always called it communist and socialist and all the rest of it. So, all right, let's see. Yes, Bella, everyone contact the Capitol switchboard, reach out and make sure what's going on here. I'm still not seeing the question from our friend there. I would take what this guy says with a grain of salt. Yes, please, always. He is using tags that get him moved up in the list for YouTube. Just be careful. I have done research on stuff he says. Okay, yeah. What the specific? Yeah, if you have anything specific that I've said incorrectly, other than the word specific, yeah, please let me know. What research have you done? And am I trying to move up in YouTube? Absolutely right. This information needs to get out there. Social Security is doing a terrible job getting the information out there. That's why so many people are missing benefits. So this is my mission in my semi-retirement to help y'all get benefits, and I can't do it without y'all's help. So please like and subscribe and get me up in YouTube so more people get this information. Yes, you're 100% right there. But yeah, if you have anything specific that I said incorrectly, please type it in and I will address it. Absolutely. Is it worth reapplying for disability? Stroke with paralysis was 2012. Well-meaning people botched the paperwork, including an attorney. Nothing completed. I am 65. Just lost Medicaid before Medicaid selection. Yes, if you're unable to work because of your disability, 100% file. If you filed in 2012 and you were denied, then you should have really filed an appeal. There's better chances of you getting approved on the appeal, because another person re-reviews it. So yes, on my website, it has the disability, all the tips, tricks, and secrets on filing for disability. Please file for disability. In terms of Medicare, if you just lost Medicaid, that's going to be a big thing. You're in your special enrollment period. So if you have a Medicare Advantage plan or you didn't have one, you can also get a Medicare supplement plan. Those are the ones I recommend, Medicare supplement plans. But if you're just getting off Medicaid, you probably don't have the budget for a Medicare supplement plan. So probably a Medicare Advantage plan, which is fine. Just have to, it's a little bit more work. So you can reach out to chapter, and you're in your special enrollment period. People that move, you can change your Medicare plan. If you lose Medicaid, you can change your Medicare plan. If you gain Medicaid, you can change your Medicare plan. If you have a Medicare supplement plan, you can change that any time of the year to find a better plan, a cheaper plan or something. Depends on your state. You might have to go through medical underwriting, but yeah. Let's see here. Dr. Ed, one question. How do we expect to be respected when the guy in the White House does not respect the rule of law and the Constitution? Yeah. Well, but you have, if you disagree with the person in the White House, you have other politicians, so definitely reach out to them. S-corp owners should be paying themselves a salary. FICA is paid on the owner payroll. There is no FICA on the net profit from an S-corp. All right. Yeah. Some people, everybody that's done that, I've seen the results of, and people that have played games, setting up an LLC and paying themselves, the market wage, and they reduce it just to avoid FICA self-employment taxes. 99.9% of people that did that regretted it later, because when they came into Social Security at 62, 65, 67, I said, okay, your benefit amount is going to be, $385 a month for the rest of your life. Oh, how can I do that? And it's like, well, you didn't work. Oh, what do you mean? I worked my butt off. Okay, sorry. Let me rephrase that. You didn't pay into Social Security. You manipulated the taxes. And so be careful, you do what you want, but just telling you through experience, a lot of people kind of eventually regret it. So, all right, I've got 3 more video questions here.
Hello, Dr. Ed. I'm 64 and a federal retiree receiving health care benefits through my pension. I need to know if I am required to take Medicare when I'm eligible. And 2, I filed for disability and am waiting on a decision. I have been contacted by DDS to first submit my application, and last week was contacted by phone by them asking for providers to follow up with. Does that mean my case will be decided fairly soon? Thank you so much.
All right. So if you're federal employee retiree, part of the federal employee retirement system, FERS, you have what's called FEHB, Federal Employment Health Benefits. And for most agencies, you don't have to sign up for Part B. I would definitely reach out to the agency. The agency makes decisions, and they're changing stuff all the time. I know the Postal Service, you have to sign up for Part A and Part B. If for any agency, once you start your Social Security benefits, you're 65, you have to sign up for Part A. It's zero premium. So, you have to sign up for Part A. If you're receiving Social Security benefits and you're 65, you have to sign up for Part A. Unless you're one of the very, very few that don't have enough credits and you have to pay for Part A, then you don't have to sign up for it. But in terms of Part B, if you are a postal employee, yes, the new law is that you have to change it. You have to apply for it. Other agencies, I would reach out to them and see if it's mandated. So even if it's not, some people go ahead and sign up for Part B, and because they want, whatever. But if you're good with, federal employees' health benefits, and it's a good program, and it's not too crazy expensive, don't get a Medicare supplement plan. Or if you sign up for Part B, don't get a Medicare supplement plan. There's some insurance agents that try to, sell you one. No, your federal employees health benefit is a supplement plan, essentially. So in terms of your other question, what level, there's no way to tell. There just maybe that particular employee, the claims examiner at the DDS, the Disability Determination Services, the state agency that's making the decision, they just might need more information. So there's no telling where in the process and whether that's good or bad. But it's good that they're doing something.
Hello, Dr. Ed. Bruce Hill from Chicago. Long-time listener. You have helped me with a lot of questions, but I am stumped by this one. I have a neighbor who just turned 32 years old that is diagnosed with pancreatic stage 4 cancer, the pancreatic cancer that is metastasized to his liver and has been given approximately less than 2 years to live. When
Wow.
can he start collecting disability by Terry, his Terry benefits? When can he apply? He is still working, but I know there's a 5 month waiting period. And then you also have this 9 month where he can make as much money as he can. Can you please advise when he should start the disability process so he wouldn't have to wait too long after he applied once it's needed? Thank you very much.
All right. Awesome on you taking care of your neighbors. You are too awesome like that, particularly someone that's in that. Wow, that's a terrible situation. Okay. So, yeah, a lot of people misunderstand the 5 month waiting period. So once you're approved, nobody gets a check for that first 5 months, but that's a separate issue. You're talking about a Terry case, terminal illness. I've taken hundreds of thousands of disability applications. I've taken a lot of Terry cases, people that have had that same type of situation. And, you come in with the documentation. And I've had people with that, and I've taken the application in the morning. And by the end of the day, their application was approved. Or when I got back at the office next day, check my mail, approved, call the person and says, you're approved, your benefits, you have the 5 month waiting period, and you're going to get your first month and the sixth month. So, but in his particular case, because he's working, Social Security defines disability as inability to work. So yes, he's working, but he has that issue. But he has to essentially stop working. Unfortunately, I know it's a kind of a, yeah, doesn't make any sense. But the first month he goes under $1,620. So if he knows he's going to stop working next month, and let's say he works, just half the month, if he stays under $1,620 next month, then call Social Security, set up an appointment, and make sure he tells them that this is a Terry case, and they will expedite his appointment. And then you just tell the person, yes, I'm working, but I am going to stop working. And next month, I'm not going to make over 1620. So let's go ahead and do it. And in this particular case, if there's basically, a quick, doctor's type of medical evidence, just 1 or 2 pages with that diagnosis, that's the type of thing that, you'd want to go ahead and provide the medical evidence. Usually if you have like hundreds of pages, just let Social Security get the documents themselves. But in that particular case, I would provide the documentation, and that will, there's Social Security has a system where they will pick that out and probably approved almost immediately within a day or two or something. So, wow. Thank you for looking out for them, though. Last question.
Ed, I'm very much wanting to find out about his restricted filing. I'm on disability, have been, full retirement age. Just lost my husband in 25 in May. He was 74, regular retirement benefits. Can I pause mine and take his at this time until I'm 70 and return back to mine?
Okay, that is called voluntary delayed retirement credits. And this is going to be so if you're reaching your full retirement age, you can stop your benefits. If you think you said you're receiving disability benefits, so when you're receiving disability benefits and then you hit your full retirement age, then they switch your disability benefits to retirement benefits, and you just call them up and say, "Don't switch me. I want to go ahead and get survivor benefits." So you go ahead and file for survivor benefits. Even if you're receiving retirement benefits, you can voluntary delayed retirement credits. You can stop your benefits before you hit your full retirement age, suspend those benefits, and then go back to get survivor benefits. You're switching programs from retirement benefits or disability benefits on your own record, suspending those and getting survivor benefits. And then, yes, once you restart your benefits on your own record, then at 70, then you'll get those delayed retirement credits. And it is a beautiful thing. So a lot of people don't know that, but that's another one that nobody knows about that. and therefore not many people do it. And even the people that know about it, not many people really take advantage of it. So when you go into a Social Security Administration office and set up an appointment or something like that, the people say, no, you can't do that. So you just have to fight a little bit and say, no, it's called voluntary delayed retirement credits. And so the people at the front windows really don't know about it. But once you get past the front windows and actually talk to a Title II claim specialist, they'll know what it is. So if they're, well, it's no telling nowadays with all the really good Social Security experienced people, they were essentially pushed out of the agency by Elon and Doge. So it's even tougher to get. All right. I'm looking for Connie. Thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. Let's see here. Did we find the lady with the question that was unable to leave a video? I'm not seeing her here, unfortunately. So, and we're running out of time. We're over an hour. If you can join us tomorrow, the person that had that question, I'll be back again tomorrow. Jump in on the very first thing, ask your question immediately once I start, and then I'm able to answer those first questions, go down the list. But after that, it gets a little bit difficult. There's just so many questions, but I will be back again tomorrow, answer a whole bunch of questions. Y'all take care of yourself and be like our hero for the day, this guy,
Hello.
and go out there and help your community and help people that need help. All right. Y'all take care, and y'all take care of each other.